Okay, we start by the beginning, which is a section given by TDC. I decide to take only the Crown Road. What you saw from the other presentation is that you have the road and you have the building space, which are hosting the pedestrian circulation. But because we are talking about a very soft, I think it's Ganesh who said that, we are going to a very soft circulation, and we are thinking of electrical, slow, safe circulation. I consider the Crown Road as a place where we want the life to happen, to merge, a meeting to happen. So if you take the section of TDC, you see a road of 4.5, which will become 2 plus 2, so 6.7. I'm in meter because I'm French. And I insist in meter, I'm sorry. So it's good to have this measurement in mind because the width of a car, it's 2 meters. The width of a public transport, a bus, it's 2.5. So keep in mind this scale, because that's really what I will question, the scale of the road. And then you have, of course, they said it, infrastructure, a cycle path linked with the green. And this is working to me because you have the two facades of the building at 16.7 T. This is abstract, this is theory. It works because you have this feeling of framing by the building. But because the road today is a road with fast vehicle, polluting vehicle, noisy vehicles, no one wants to be closer to this road. So the buildings, the public buildings, have the tendency to go much more further away from the road, which results, for example, for the library, it's 22 meters away from the Crown. Kalpana, there is 4 more meters away, and that means the space in between is not whole anymore because of the quality of the road today. So you see there is, so in this space, which is left free, which is not organized because it was not supposed to be like that, you see a lot of parking, wild parking, vehicles. You see a lot of things which are not addressed. So from that, I will question the width of the road and the quality of the road. Coming back to Matrimondier, the center, which is like, for me, a golden radiating center, which we can feel even at the Crown level. Then I draw several lanes, which can be the different lanes of circulation, cycle, bus, car, bike, anything that you can, infrastructure, that you can think of. And I will question this width. But it could be also much more abstract, like the different use that the Crown needs to address. Social meeting, ecological function, collecting the water. So all this use, it's the Crown Road can solve it, should address this. It's not only a road, it's a place where you have all these phenomena that need to be solved. So you see this Matrimondier, the 4 portal from the 4 gates of Matrimondier, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, Mahasarasvati, and Maheshwari, which are also, by the way, the 4 parks. They have all an impact on the Crown. The 12 garden, which is more like that, which give also a direction, give a sense of where we are, not to be bored, like Ganesh was saying, in this Crown. Something happens each time. And the 4 parks, which are the one I mentioned last year. And that's exactly the design. The green line are the lines from the master plan. And each time it's intersect with the galaxy, with the Crown. So you have the green line and you have the blue line. The blue line is ecological sensitive zone. You see in Gaia all the percolation areas that we need to save. In dark alley, it's also related matter, no? But water. But it's different type of water. Dark alley, it's catching the water before it goes to canyon and before it goes to the village. And Oro Dam on that side, which is a canyon also. And you can see there is a kind of relation with the park. And that gives a kind of perimeter on the crown to say, oh, something is happening here. There is another priority than the circulation. And that means every time it crosses these different things, I decide to reduce the size of the crown. I decide that in the park, when a crown road is crossing the park, it's a park who has a priority. Which means, yes, we can still have this experience of wandering around Matrimonial, around the city center, around the city, but it's something else which is happening, and I'm not the first one. I mean, I have to slow down, and I have to acknowledge what is happening already there. So you can see that there is, in these two parks, I decide there will be only one lane. Let's call it lane. We don't know what it means. But there's only one lane, so it's very narrowing the crown, while this, for example, here and here, something else a bit different will happen, mainly here, because sometimes if I reduce too much, that means I will have to have this traffic somewhere else. So I will not save more place for nature because I will have constantly different intersections. So I will combine everything on a shared space in this area. So that means now it starts to look like that. It's not anymore a ring with the same width, the same section. The section you saw on the first slide is a typical section for everything. And I really believe that we need to adjust this section to what is going around this 4 kilometers. Whatever is water, whatever is contour, whatever is building, but we need to change the section, so to draw different sections. So you see already there is different of things happening. It's not totally abstract and just a dream. I took this road from Henrik and also from Fabian study about mobility. That's why it was very useful to have this zoom out on mobility to understand that we are not just dreaming on something and we don't consider the rest. No? We have an idea, which is for this part, which are not pedestrian, we let the traffic going through. Okay, you are maybe not well oriented. So this is visitor center, and this is Allan Kupam and Kotakarai, and this is the college road, going through. So I imagine that, okay, maybe today, we are talking about DDP, we are talking about 5 years. Today and for 5 years, we will have to deal with that. We cannot just stop the traffic. So we need to live with that, but doesn't obstruct us to dream about something else, which we have the power to work on. And it's the other section. Here, I don't consider this to have, this is a solar kitchen. I don't consider this stretch being traffic going through, but the traffic can come from here and filter, maybe be just access. Let's see how we can solve that. So go back to the 4 parks. So in green, you have it's a bit complex, but in green, this green, you have the park like the master plan. Then in this green, you have what you call the forest of Auroville as it has been planted and developed it. Let's remember that the trees which are here are not just coming by chance. It's because it's a new forest here. So it's because people have planted in this area. So I think it's very good also for our future planning that if we want to have a park here, here, or here, we need to plant it. It will not happen just like that. It will happen if we wait for decades. But if we want to have the park, because we want to have a city, we need to plant it now. And then I extend, when you see the section, the intersection between the crown and the park, it is very small. It's about, this one is about 60 meters, which is very, very small, to 200 meter maximum, the stretch of the park. So if you go through with a fast vehicle, you don't even see it. You don't even have your green corridor aspect that you want or your filtration. So I took the liberty to increase a little bit with the ecological sensitive zone, Gaia for the percolation, Dark Alley and the canyon for water catchment, and Oro Dam on this area. And then I'm a bit more comfortable with that section, that stretch, which are giving you a sense of green. If you look at the black and the green, the proportion, it's half-half, which can be a good way to say the city will be half green. The crown will be half green, that's why. Let's dream. For each park, I would imagine to have a different type of thematic. Again, not to be bored. I mean, it's not about to have one park which look exactly the same than the other. So for Mahalakshmi, it's more to be together, to have a shared space where you have your plateau, where all the vehicles, all the circulation, type of circulation can happen, and then the rest, we leave it free for percolation, to plant trees in order to help the percolation. Youth Center, Bliss Forest, come back to the playfulness and the joyfulness that was a symbol of this area, and build the crown or the space of the crown together. Mahasarasvati Park, which is Dark Alley and a very large extension on both sides. To decide that water and wildlife is a priority. So we are just going on the tiptoe on it, and we divide. I will show you different things. And the last one here, it's education. We have the international zone here, and we have the visitor center, and we have a lot of guest house here. So we can imagine that this is a perfect place to spray the knowledge of water, of not polluting water, collecting water, reuse of water. So let's go to all of the park. Mahalakshmi Park. So you can see on this little drawing here that the official lines are here, but I double it. But that means it's about 250 meter stretch. I double it in order to really have a space which gives this feeling of park. Every vehicle is on the same plateau. We don't have a curb to limit the road. You know, we really have a connection with nature on the both sides. Because it's quite large, we plant trees which are tall trees close to the road. And eventually, yes, because we have to wait for the tree to grow, we can create shade structure in this area. I start by thinking that there will be no building in this park stretch, just to let you know. There will be so many buildings on the other section, so when I cross the park, I have minimum buildings. I can have shade structure, I can have pavilion, I can have something which, for example, the shuttle, AV shuttle station, but not a regular facade. The facade is coming from the tree itself. So that's a section on the same park. So I put 6 meters of the road for the electrical AV shuttle that will cross all the area, and that will be much more regular than today. Today is not existing, so we have a very frequent public transport on this area, but we share with bicycle, motorbike. Sometimes, you know, along the road there is place where something is happening, like what maybe you have experienced in other city, a bit dense in the street, where someone suddenly sings, someone will jungle, someone will do capoeira, whatever. It's just something is happening also in this space. And I keep the 2 meter and 1 meter, so at the end it's 9 meter. That's for the, that's for the, I call it infrastructure, but it's not your infrastructure. It's for anything which is built or a little shade or something like that. It doesn't have to be a little shed. It can be very urban and modern shed. It's not, it doesn't have to be rustic, no? So I have a total of 9 meter road compared to the 16.70 width that we are talking, that the brief is giving us. But again, it depends how you see the things. If you consider that the road should address percolation problem, green plantation, we can imagine that this is also the crown space. I go to the top one, Mahakali Park. On this little sketch you see that's the stretch between here and here. It's 300 meters. I guess you know a lot that space, that there is a road here which connects to College Road, which means it's traffic that we cannot influence right now. We need to put a lot of work and effort toward Panchayat and place to discuss with the villager and with the bioregion in order to prevent that very massive traffic that we can have from here. So here we have only one stretch for only the EV shuttle, and we have a series of different experiences along this road, which is for anything, pedestrian, cycle, it's similar. So if you arrive here, if you arrive with your EV shuttle, you can go on and you are directly there. If you are with your cycle, you can meander all along this place. And it's very important that we don't have polluting, noising, fast circulation, traffic in this area, because there is a connection with the school, which are here. It's the connection between the center to the school. And it's a connection, it's really a radiating, connection between the diagonal. We can imagine that it goes with the stream that you see here. Whoop. You don't see it anymore. I'm lost. The contour is only 1 meter from here to here. You know, it's a slope like that, and that's why we start to have the beginning of the stream here. We can imagine that the circulation of pedestrian and cycle are going close to this place. It's, again, more you raise awareness, more you protect it. And you have also water bodies along the crown itself to create other space here. Yeah. The section, so it's really because I reduced to 4 meters the main road, which is not a road. In that case, it's an alley, let's say. And I have several ones, 2 and 2, or 1 and 150 along, you know, the space is always different here. I don't need to have a lot of shade. I don't need to plant large trees here because I have this space here which will provide the shade that I need during the day. Because I reduce the horizontal open space and I section with other green area, I don't need to create more shade. Darkali or Mahasarasvati Park. So you come from here and you arrive in that area and you finish here. So again, this is a very sensitive place for water, for wildlife, for a lot of things. So it's for afforestation. So it's, the idea is the heavy traffic will go. That's also a bypass that Henrik and Fabian propose near the Kali temple and going there. And that means you have more chance to address the pressure from the village. And in this area, you have simply a catwalk going from this point to this point. So yes, my experience around the crown is always this circle. I know that I have matrimony on that side. I know I'm in this, this circular pedestrian path, but I don't need to go with my big width of road. So all the infrastructure goes here, and then a bit further we have the road on that side. And we can repeat, this curve. We can repeat with the different areas that we need to build in order to catch the water. And it can become totally a place just to enjoy, to see, to go. It's a goal, no? That's a perfect circle from the 690 from the banyan tree. I mean, it's pedestrian. It can be cycle if you want, but I think it's more easy to go there. And again, I have 4 meters because I really want to have my shuttle going there. And I can repeat this, this circular water body. Then the last one was a bit more difficult, 60 meter only stretch. And I realized that Auroville is quite far from the crown. So I'm not sure I want to invite whoever will come to the crown to the Auroville canyon. Yet I think this place has, it's much further, the canyon and the dam of Auroville. And we have a lot of housing and buildings already here on this. So I would imagine the crown more to be something which is enclosed and stay. It's more a filtration for the noise or for the, you see here there is a car of a student, of kids who go that way. So maybe it's good to filter on both sides. And we can use a lot of plantation. And here you see a double alley of trees in the center. So the center become 4 meters of shade path, promenade. I think you saw it in some reference picture of Sonali this morning. So you have the shade from the tree in the center, and that's the living place. That's where you meet people. And then you have the circulation on both sides, which can be reduced. And then you have your buildings on that side. So here you have 14 meters with, quite a lot of space. Each time I put the infrastructure under the road, because I imagine that we have always a second road if we need access and if we need to repair, we will have always this part to use if we really have to have access to it. Coming back to the existing stretch between PTDC to Arca. So that's what we have today. And what I would imagine is really to reclaim the paved area. So we have about 7 meters the road is not 7 meters, but there is an extra place where we can't plant trees, so I cannot provide shade. So the idea was to create another layer closer to the street, because it's not a road anymore if we go for pedestrian and public transport. And this will be more at the scale of pedestrian cycle. So you imagine you have your bakery delivery here, you have ice cream on that side, and you wait for your shuttle. This is what I try to draw here. So you recognize the solar kitchen here and Portus on this area. Library, Kailash, Kalpana. Okay, and you have the existing road from Certitude. Again, I'm talking about the next 5 years. So what will be fantastic is that in 10 years, it will not be even there, the existing road from Certitude. But within 5 years, the priority is really to shift from a normal road to a pedestrian public transport road. That will help us to reclaim the paved area and to live here, and to have, so it's not just by decision, it's quite a lot of work that we have to put into that. We can imagine, to create a lot of shed structure on the street, but also to create a space for the bus, for the workers to go to the village and to have a special rate and to have a special node of transport. I imagine to close this part to car, even the Aurovillian car. But again, we can imagine a bypass on the back. We can imagine a fast tag system for those who have that. But that means also we have this place here where we have our car, the Aurovillian car. You can park here. So if you want to go to Pavneet, Chennai, Bangalore, whatever, if you need your car, you still have the car here. This is more for the day parking in this area. And here, of course, you have all your charging, power station for your e-bike. And that creates already a sense of urban fabric. No, I don't know, you see the markets here. You see a very large public space that is created after the event of this last month to work together and to create something together. You see, of course, a lot of water. It's not water. It's just, again, the idea of collecting, reusing, recycle. And so more it's decentralized. It's a bit like what we saw with solar panel, to work with a cluster instead of trying to do everything on the ground, but to have a cluster of buildings which work together for electrical, for water, for recycling, even for waste, because we can imagine that the road, if we don't change into a different type of road, will create a lot of waste, a lot of pollution.